excited to chat with you, and I'm so excited to chat about your book.
Yes, I
Beautiful.
brought mine. I've got both of them here.
Oh,
So,
that's so exciting. I love it. And I love how your bookmark had the both sides of the mystery, kind of like in your small town, and it was kind
oh,
of like the dark side and
light
the
side.
light side. And I
Yes.
love that. So could you tell us a little more about yourself, and then we can jump into your books?
Yes. So, I'm Michele Pariza Wacek, and USA Today bestselling author, and I write both psychological thrillers and cozy mysteries. I'm a mystery author, which I know is a little. I know we're on the romance tour, but my books do have romantic subplots.
I
So.
love that.
Yes, so they do lead they do emphasize the mystery part, but they do have but there's lots of romance. So
Right. And that's what I thought when I had been following you for a while. I was like, okay, I have to ask her if she'd want to join in the road trip, the romance road trip, because she's got some romance in her mysteries.
I do. I mean, there's a couple books that don't. One of them is The Third Nanny. That's more of a straight. That's actually probably really the only one. That's pretty much a straight psych thriller, but the rest of them pretty much all do. So,
Cool.
yeah, and because I love having romance in there. So I love a good romance as well. I don't usually read like contemporary romance. I usually read things like romantasy or
Oh,
something
sure. Yep.
where it's mixed in with the plot. So.
Yeah. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
So, so I do, so basically the big thing that's a little, well, I guess it's a little different about me, but all my books are interrelated and they all take place in Wisconsin. Either Redemption, Wisconsin, which is based on, which is based on Reedsburg, which I'm now living in Reedsburg, so you can
Love
see
it.
one of the lakes.
Yep.
So, Reedsburg, Wisconsin is in the Wisconsin Dells area.
Yeah.
And it's yeah it's a lovely area. And then I also have Riverview. I talk about Riverview, and that's actually Madison. So it's based off of Madison, Wisconsin. So which is where I grew up. So
Okay.
that's why all my books take place there. And my books are interconnected in the sense that like the kind of the flagship book that started off was The Secrets of Redemption, and it's psychological suspense, but it's clean, and by clean I mean not just close the door, but also no swearing,
Oh,
uh, no gore, very little violence, that kind of thing.
that's
So
good.
yeah, and I use clean more just because I know closed door is what the romance is going, but closed door doesn't do everything justice. I mean, because for psych thrillers, it's more than just sex.
Right.
There's a
Right.
lot of other stuff going
Possibly
on. So
blood and, murders and stuff like that,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
So I tend to use the word clean more. So the psych thrillers are clean, and then one of the characters in there, Charlie, Aunt Charlie, um, is she. So in the beginning of book one, I'm not giving you any spoilers. She's dead, and the reason why we know she's dead is because Becca, who is the main character, is at her house in Redemption. That's why she gets to Redemption because her aunt Charlie had died and willed her the house. But then Aunt Charlie come to her through dreams. So she's dream about Aunt Charlie and throughout. And as we're going along here, I realized Aunt Charlie needed her own story. So I actually wrote about how she got to redemption, which is books 4 and 5 of the Secrets of Redemption series.
Ah.
And then what happened is, um, so I thought we were done, but Charlie was not done. And before I knew it, I'm writing a cozy series starring Charlie. But because, of course, she's dead in contemporary times, I had to make it in the 1990s. So that's why it takes place in the 1990s in Redemption, Wisconsin. And Charlie
Okay.
is making and selling teas out of her house. She grows the herbs and flowers in her backyard and then makes it and sells it. And so we have the Charlie Kingsley cozy, mysteries. So those are cozy mysteries, and that's a very very slow burn romance. I'm about to get writing book 8 and book
Wow.
9, and book 8 and book 9 is when I'm when the Roman when the HEA is finally going to happen, the
Right.
heavily so it's a 9 book wait, but it'll be good.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
and
awesome.
then this is my latest series, which which is what you've got, and this book just came out in June, and
Okay.
the book 3 is going to come out at the end of August. And this one, the Redemption Detective Agency, is also in the 90s. It's a spinoff from Charlie Kingsley. The two of the characters who we meet in the Charlie Kingsley mysteries decided to start their own redemption detective agency. One is a retired nurse, one is a retired teacher. They know nothing about being a detective or owning a business or really
Right.
anything. And so poor Emily, Emily is my main character. Her life has imploded. She lost her job. She lost her savings. She lost her fiance. She lost her house. She lost her car. So she has nowhere to go. So she ends up with her Aunt Tildy, who's one of the characters that we meet in Charlie Kingsley. And because Aunt Tildy's the only one who's going to take her in, and Aunt Tildy says, "Oh, you could get to work at my new venture, the Redemption Detective Agency." So
Oh,
that's so
funny.
we've got this. And there is a love story that is moving along much faster and will be resolved in 6 books and not 9. So
Really
I
cool.
call this more of a rom-com. It's very funny. It's very
Good. Yep.
lighthearted. And it's more of a rom-com cozy mystery.
Rom-com with mystery, cozy mystery. Oh, I love that. And I do love too, I've been following your Instagram channel and I see that your dogs are like and your pets are like a really big, huge part of your life. And I love that because my pets are such a huge part of my life too. Can you talk a little bit about how they kind of inspired some of the ideas and the characters and things happening in your books?
Oh yes. So we meet them. So there's two cats and a dog. We meet Sherlock, who is Aunt Tildy's cat, and then Smoke is Nora's cat. So Nora's the one character I hadn't talked about. She owns a bookstore in the same strip mall that the Redemption Detective Agency is in, and she's but she and you'd think she would know more about owning a business, but Nora's a free spirit. So she comes over every day with Smoke, her cat. And
Cool.
so we got Smoke, and Smoke doesn't necessarily want to be solving mysteries, but he ends up getting involved anyways. And then Scout is the dog. He's a lab mix, a yellow lab mix, and Aunt Tildy or Emily doesn't really like dogs or cats in the beginning of the book. She likes everything in her place.
Yep.
And and if we know anything about dogs and cats, you usually don't have everything in your place.
Exactly.
But Scout comes to her, so Scout's a stray, and she ends up bringing him in, and then so that's kind of the start. And then in this one is when we actually have Scout actually helps out, and so there's actually two cases going on, and Smoke is a part of one of the cases, and Scout is a part of the other case. So we have the pets coming out here,
Love.
yeah, I've always loved. I've been a huge animal lover my entire life, and I like both cats and dogs. My husband's a big. I've always loved dogs more, but I do like cats a lot.
Right,
Uh,
right.
but my husband is a no cat kind of guy, so
Yeah.
we have dogs.
There you go. Yeah, I'm completely with you there. I love dogs and cats. I just love animals. And I saw this one video and I had to laugh because it was a comedian and she was talking about people ask if I love cats. And I'm like, of course I do. And then they're like, well, do you love dogs? And she's like, of course I do. I'm a human being. I just be a nice person. Love animals.
Exactly,
I'm like, I agree
exactly.
with you. That's awesome. I love that you put your animals, I mean, your love for animals in your books, and also that you put Wisconsin in your books too, because since we're on a road trip, we're in Wisconsin and this
Yeah.
is this interview, so that's pretty fun. So what other areas do you feel like you've brought in Wisconsin into your books, like culture-wise, words that you say, food that you love? What are some different ways you feel like you've brought that into Redemption?
So I think part of it is I think it's funny. I don't actually I should probably bring in some food in there. I did bring in some food in some of the earlier books. And mostly what I'm trying to do is sort of capture I guess the Midwestern niceness.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it's kind of the culture of being kind of growing up here. So like the weather and that kind of thing. Because I mean, because when you grow up here, and then I did live I lived in Arizona for almost 30 years, and
Oh,
so
wow.
we just moved back. Yeah. So but even when I was living in Arizona, I was still writing all my books here. So just because it just felt like I mean, that's the thing. I guess, there's just some things you just can't get away.
Right,
So,
right. And I feel too like when you're living farther away or not in the Midwest
yeah.
again, because I lived in Vegas for a while and also Australia for a while,
Oh,
and it's
wow.
completely different in both of those places. So it's, humid and hot and well, and Australia and then Arizona or, Vegas, very dry and hot.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like you miss those just cool nights that we have up here and like, you think back on your childhood and lake life and all that and it's hard to escape from.
Yeah. Exactly. And just having all the water is a massive difference. But and I do feel like I guess like talk about Midwestern niceness, but there is after living as I lived a long time in Arizona and I had a lot of I had an online copywriting marketing company for many years, and I had many clients in California. So I spent a lot of time also in California. And it's not like, and I'm not trying to say that people in California aren't nice and people in
Right.
Arizona aren't nice because that's not true. They're very nice,
Yeah.
but it's just a little bit. It's just a little different of a of it's just different. And so
Right.
I think that's kind of what it is. Just here, just always feels just a little more.
In your
You know,
face, kind of like
yeah, yeah, a little more grounded. I think
right.
that's what it is. Just a little more grounded out here.
Yeah. One thing that somebody had mentioned to me is like with the Midwest or nice or, Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota nice, all of that. That it's like when you walk into a grocery store, some stranger will just start talking to you just to talk
Yeah.
to you. And you might not, you don't know each other. You walk away not knowing each other, but you had a conversation and you were super friendly and everything. And they were super friendly. And it was just a friendly little chat. And
Right.
one person was like, yeah, they've never experienced that elsewhere. So it's kind of interesting to that is a Midwestern thing. So I just thought that was so cool. And that girl is like mentioning one thing she realized about Midwesterners is that. And it's so funny.
Yes, I know. It is. It is. And that is that kind of niceness just wherever you, yeah, that kind of acceptedness, I think is good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like you said, not to say that, people in other places aren't friendly because they are, but it's just that culture of like the groundedness of that friendship, the overly friendliness. Yeah.
Yeah, and just being polite. I mean, I guess that's the other thing too. That's I mean, it's Midwestern nice, but also almost Midwestern politeness. Like one thing is they people really want to like have things move smoothly. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's a lot more just social norms, and I mean, and not and that can be. I mean, there's good and bad and everything, but the nice thing is that people try very hard to if there is an argument, to kind of smooth things
Oh,
over, to be
smooth it
polite.
over because people don't like conflict here.
Exactly that. Yeah, that's exactly it. That whole like just trying, and it's nice. So it's like just not
Yeah.
and it does. So in other words, they try to, so they try to, consciously not, keep things so that it's not uncomfortable for people.
Right, right. I like that. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. So, so you found that you kind of ended up adding some of that, like that Midwest nice in there into your books.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's kind of where it is, kind of the culture bit. Although I know I've been watching Tanya. If you go down the south, I think she's got a little bit of romance in her cozy mysteries. But
Yeah.
and she really leans into the south, like with the sweet tea and stuff like
That's
that. So I'm
cute.
thinking,
And so
yeah.
if you could just tell me a little bit about kind of like your writing and how like a day in the life writing for you, what that's like.
So it's well, so I right now I'm sitting here. This is my office, which is it's a lovely office.
I love it.
Um, but it's eventually I'm going to be there's actually an upstairs here, and
Mm.
which is it's a loft, and so I will be moving up here. I'm not there yet because my old dog, who might come walking by, I don't know, she's laying back down again, but
Oh,
she's got pretty bad hip dysplasia, so. And she doesn't want to, she
go up
looks
there.
around for too much. So
Yeah.
so I'm down here, which is great. I love being by the lake, but
Right.
so for right now I'm here, and What I do is a day in a see, it feels kind of boring. So we go for our walk around the neighborhood. We walk around the lake. So I try to do that every day, and then with my husband and think about writing,
Cool.
and then try to get my words in with whatever my work in progress is. I don't I don't write as many words as I think some authors do. So I'm a little slower of a well, yeah, I feel like I'm a little slow of a writer because I don't I try, but I can't I don't know if you've had authors talk about plotters and pantsers.
Oh, sure.
I
Yep.
yeah, so I'm definitely more on the pantser side, but I need a roadmap. Speaking of roadmaps, I need a
Right.
roadmap, but it can't be too, I can't do it really specifically. So that's always the key because if I don't have any notes, then I'll
Mm.
just sit here and stare at the screen.
Oh,
But if
yeah.
I have, if I at least know a rough outline of what I'm doing, then I can write it in and I fill in the details. But like some of these people, like some of these authors that I met who are actually plotters, and because I need a rough outline, I had actually thought I was a plotter. Well, I'm not a plotter because when I actually saw an outline from one of my plotter friends, I was like, well, why are you even
I don't.
bothering to write the book? It's it's so detailed. I don't know what
It's
the
already
point.
written, right?
Yeah, I mean it's that's what it looks like. It's like what more is there to do? So,
Yeah.
I mean yeah, you got to fill in some details, but it's all so anyway, so I need to actually kind of get inside the story and feel around. So because of
Right.
that, it does take longer. There is no question that plotters can write faster books. My books,
Mhm.
my friends that I know who write like a book a month, and I do have friends like that, or even more. They write very,
Wow.
very specific plot, and so they're able to do it. So because of that, it takes me a little while, and so some days, um, I can get a lot done. Like especially if I'm near the end of the book, then I can write a lot. If I'm in the middle, in the beginning, I can usually write, and the end is good. The middle is sometimes a little more feeling around to make sure that it's going well. And then sometimes it's like, I get somewhere and I realize I have to add it in, so then I have to back it up a little bit. So that's kind of how it is. So it really depends on if I how clear that day is laid out before
Okay.
or how much I get done.
So when you're starting a new project, do you feel like you are a character person or a plot person? What comes to you first?
So I think it's the I'm a plot person because I do not always. I mean, sometimes it's the character, but it's interesting because I am very much driven by I yeah, I have to I need and I think that's why I suspect for mysteries there's probably more plot driven. I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know this for a fact, and I'm sure there are I'm sure there are mystery authors out there that are character driven. But so I'm not sure saying this is a hard and fast rule. But the reason why I'm saying that is because, if you like if you're there's an author I know, I'm thinking about her particularly. She does write cozies, but then she also writes women's fiction. And the thing is, when I've talked to her about her process, she's very character. She that's the thing. She comes up with the character arc. And mysteries are very hard for her to write.
Ah,
So that's the thing. And so when I've talked to my friends who do are very character driven and will write, are more comfortable and more like the women's fiction or, more of a contemporary romance that's not, mixed with another genre. They seem to be, I think that idea of just having the character arc works well. Whereas in mysteries, I mean, I mean, you're reading a mystery because you want there to be a mystery
right,
that you solve. And if you don't have a mystery to solve, then
right.
I think I think it can get, I think then the readers will get frustrated. So I feel like if you are plot driven, writing a mystery would probably be easier for you. Maybe that's a better
Probably.
way to say it.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, because I feel like for me, the character comes first. And I mean, I love mysteries. I think they're so interesting. I would love to write one someday, but I'm not 100% great at coming up with the plot first. My husband's really good at coming up with the plot first. which is kind of funny. But like, I'll get an idea for a story. I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'll be into my husband. I'm like, Johan, guess what? I have a story idea. I'm so excited. Oh my word! And then he's like, okay, what is it? And I'm like, well, I was imagining if this girl, she did this, and she lived here, and this is what like, this is what she's like, and blah 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 blah. And he's like, yeah, but
What
this is what
happens?
happens. Like, and I'm like, I don't know. I haven't written that. I just thought it was an interesting character. So it's kind of interesting because I've found a lot of people who, like start in the plot. A lot of people who start with a character and then they sort of like find more about the plot as they write. But it's just so interesting. I love it. Cool. So are you working on something new right now? This series,
Yes.
how long is
So
this one?
the third book in that series, so I'm finishing that up. So yes. So and then so I'm writing the Mystery Escape from Missing Ghosts that's going to come up at the end of August,
Cool.
and then the next thing is actually writing a Christmas crossover book. So and what I
Oh,
mean by
fun.
that, yes, it's the miss. I actually now I can't remember the name of it. The mysterious Christmas. I don't know. I had a cute name for it, but what it is I'm writing. It's actually a novella from Charlie Kingsley and a novella from the Redemption Detective Agency, and it's a crossover. So in both of them,
Crossover.
so it's happening in the same Christmas times.
Ah,
So they're at two different places, and so then I was gonna have the characters in each one pop in there, and so I'm gonna put them together, and they're gonna be, it's a two book, so it's like a little anthology, so a little crossover Christmas
cool. I
anthology, and
love it.
that will come out in November.
So both books are going to be in the same book. Like, I mean,
Yes.
both stories are
Yeah,
going
and
to
then
be.
eventually I'll release them separately, but I'm initially going to release them together as
That's
a
really cool. And do you feel like a lot of your readers who read this one also read your other one, like your other thrillers?
I think, yeah, I know that this is a little new. I think so. It's because I mean, yeah, so I am assuming they're going back and reading Charlie Kingsley, and I'm also assuming that Charlie Kingsley, because I did put in the back matter to read this, and I did see people do that, so I'm assuming
Cool.
that's the case. I know for a fact that with Charlie Kingsley, they would go back and read the Secrets of Redemption, because readers would tell me, and I would see that in
Yeah.
the reviews. So I know they were crossing back and forth between the Charlie Kingsley mysteries and the Secrets of Redemption. So I know they're doing that. So I'm assuming they're going here. Now these are so the Charlie Kingsley mysteries are. I mean, they've got quirky. There is humor, and it's very quirky. It's got like quirky characters and all of that. But the mysteries are very, very twisty. So it's very mystery driven, I would say.
Yep.
Whereas these are very lighthearted. So those are Charlie Kingsley is a little more high stakes. These
Okay.
are these would be considered low stakes. So because they're solving cold cases. So
Okay.
so yeah, but even so, like actually in the mysterious case of the missing ghost, there's a character that might lose her house in there, so that's a little bit of a high stake. But for
Okay.
the most part, unlike thrillers, is that these are very lighthearted, very funny,
Fun.
very just a fun read. It's got all that rom-com stuff, the romance in there, the a lot of character interactions. So, and the mystery is almost a second. So it's a little bit different than I normally write, because the mystery is more of a secondary thing to the rest of it. So.
Interesting. Yeah. The little girl who loved reading Nancy Drew inside of me is so excited to read this. So I can't wait. So that'll be super fun. That's awesome. And then so with you being in Wisconsin, what places in Wisconsin do you think that people should definitely come and check out if they were to do a vacation in Wisconsin or driving through?
So Wisconsin Dells is a beautiful area. So I would definitely come out here, and then you can swing by. Reedsburg's pretty small town, but there's also Devil's Lake is in this area, and I actually kind of write about Devil's Lake in well, actually that's in the Charlie Kingsley Mysteries, where I call it Angel's Lake. So
Oh, cool. Yes, I love that.
So I did a little, but it's a very it's probably one of the most popular state parks. There's a lot of state parks in Wisconsin. I mean, that's the one of the really nice things that I kind of missed living in Arizona. I mean, Arizona is great, and there's a lot of hiking. I don't want to,
Right.
but there's not as many. I mean, there is like there's national forests and stuff like that, but you can't go in there and use them really because especially
Oh,
with the fire dangers. So, so at least when I was there, they weren't in a drought anymore the last few years, but for a good 15, 20 years when I was first out there, we couldn't even really use the forest and the
wow.
desert and the and forests and deserts, forests in Prescott, Arizona are not forests in Wisconsin.
Right. They're
So
not as thick and lush, right?
yeah, two very different forests. So, um, out here, there's just tons and tons of state parks. So,
Right.
which is a lovely way to, enjoy Wisconsin. And then also Door County, which
Yes.
is if you Wisconsin is like here, the thumb, this is Door County, and that's surrounded by Lake Michigan. So it's a lot like I did visit Cape Cod in Massachusetts, and Door County is a lot like Cape Cod, except it's not salt water, it's fresh water.
Midwest.
So
Yeah.
that's another beautiful area to
Oh,
go.
yes. I went there with my husband last year and it was beautiful. I was like, I wouldn't mind living here.
I know it's really lovely, and
Beautiful.
the
Oh,
houses are so cute. So yes.
so cute. Yeah, so cute. The food's great. They have great coffee shops and everything. So, yeah, I love that. And I like that you mentioned Wisconsin Dells too, because it's beautiful there too.
Yes. And it's smaller, so it's a nice so if you can go and especially like I would go to the state parks and the nice thing about Wisconsin Dells is it's a little, it's not quite as crazy as some of the other
Right.
other places you could visit.
Yeah, exactly. So if you were to go on a road trip, what number one book would you bring with you that is kind of like your go-to read, your comfort read you go back to many times over?
Oh my gosh.
Hard question, I know, right?
It is a hard question. It depends on my mood.
I get that.
I'm such a mood reader.
Get
Well,
that.
I mean, I do like The Shining is probably one that I do like from Stephen King. I
Okay,
always just
cool.
I think which is completely out of everywhere. But that's the thing. I'm an old Gen Xer, so I grew up reading Stephen King too young, reading Flowers in the Attic, all the
That's
stuff we
so
weren't supposed
funny. Oh
to
my word.
read.
Can you
Come on.
tell where people can find you and your books so that they can go over and support you and get your books and read them?
So mpwnovels.com is my website. And then as you pointed out, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. At Instagram, it's the Michelle PW and with one L, Michele. And then on Facebook, it's Michelle PW author. And I'm on,
And it was just a lovely time chatting with you, Michelle, and I just enjoyed it so much. We'll have to chat again sometime soon.
yes, I agree. Thank you so much for having me and for stopping in Wisconsin.
Oh, most definitely. I couldn't miss Wisconsin. It was, yeah, just it's such a beautiful state. Sounds great. It was lovely chatting with you, Michelle, and you have a great rest of your day.
Yes, you too. Thank you so much.
Most definitely. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Thanks for riding shotgun on the Romance Reading Road Trip. I'm so excited for you to be joining this journey with us. Be sure to go down to the video description below and sign up for the passport. You're not going to want to miss out on it.